talk. This that block talk. This that block talk. Block face down out line, nigga. Chop talk. This that block talk. Block face down out line, nigga. Chop talk. This that block talk. Block face down out line, nigga. Chop talk. This that block talk. Block face down out line, nigga. Chop talk. Ain't made out of cop car. This that block talk. Block face down out line, nigga. Chop talk. Ain't made out of cop car. This that block talk. Block face down out line, nigga. Chop talk. Ain't made out of cop car. This that block talk. Block face down out line, nigga. Chop talk. Ain't made out of cop car. This that block talk. Block face down out line, nigga. Chop talk. Ain't made out of cop car. This that block talk. Block face down out line, nigga. Chop talk. Ain't made out of cop car.
Where the fuck do they want as a man to get slapped, to get spit? I think spit on a different level from being
No, I
slapped.
know, but I'm saying
To me, in my mind, the spit is just there. Is
Get it, got it. Hey, everybody, welcome to Black Talk. Here we are again. Tis I and my incredible host, as always, Gajo from another Majo. Or, something that they say.
We're trying to make up new phrases. You're not going to make fetch work.
Yeah. God damn it, Gretchen. Stop trying to make fetch work. It's really
It
catching
is
on.
now. 25 years. Wait, oh my God. Fuck. How old is that movie?
However long ago it was. I don't think it was that long because I think that movie came out like when I was in like middle school or high school. I remember I used to have the biggest crush on Lindsay Lohan. Even when she was going through her problems, I was still like,
Oh no, I had a one on Gretchen, Lacey Chambert. But anyways,
yeah, yeah, she's fucking hot. Yeah, is it weird that I also found it very disturbing, like the Amy Poehler character? Like she's the mom with the dog, like chewing on her nipple.
Amy Poehler.
Oh
no, okay, Amy Poehler. Yeah. No, I was thinking Amy Schumer. Yeah, I was like, wait,
Amy
she was
Schumer?
in that? Like, no, wait a minute. Oh, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
Poehler. Yeah. I remember her now.
Yeah, Amy Poehler was the weird fucking mom. Yeah, she was the strange lady who let the dog like just chew on her nipples, and I was like, what? But guys, we have a very special episode for you today. Today is called the Red Flag Show. Today we're going to talk about how identifying and addressing red flags in relationships. So, Guy, why don't you start us off hot, man? Give me a red flag and how to avoid.
See, but you're going in too deep. You're going into like red flags in relationships. Like I look for red flags like when we're just in the talking phases, like but in a relationship, by then it's kind of too late, or you just got used to them. I'm thinking, or they hit them so well, or you jumped into a relationship not waiting to see these red flags. So, man, red flags. I mean, one is raising your voice, whether them at you or you at them. Like, there's no reason to raise your voice at anybody, unless it's to tell them, "Hey, watch out" or "Be careful." But if you're angry at someone, don't raise your voice because you're just gonna make shit worse. You're gonna say something you don't mean, or you mean it in the moment, but you're gonna regret it later. But you don't care because you're mad. So yeah, raising your voice is one of those. It's like game over. Like, no, only my parents can do that.
Yeah, I think what happens is, yeah, exactly. Man, I remember I said something funny. Now, granted, this was towards a grown ass man, but I think it like follows the same guidelines because I remember this dude was trying to yell at me at like this old job that I used to have, and he was like raising his voice at me, and I said, "Well, you raise your voice at two people, at your bitch and your kids, and I'm neither one. So you know what I'm saying? No reason to yell at me. We grown ass men, we can talk like grown men." But speaking to the red flag thing, I think that what happens is a lot of men and women tend to deceive themselves and they look past those red flags because they're like, well, it's not really a red flag. It's more like a yellow flag. It's a little slow down, but I'm pretty sure I could get that flag to a green flag. You know what I mean? Like they trick themselves into thinking like, I can fix this shit. It's not that big a deal.
Or like you said, it's not that big a deal.
Like for me, one Yeah, exactly. Like for me, a big one is any sort of physical abuse, like any whatsoever. Like I know some people like they like to play by like slapping their partner and shit like that. And I mean, I get it if it's sexual, that's your thing. You know what I'm saying? And they want that, they allow that. That's different. Things that fly in the bedroom does not mean that it's okay in in the outer world, outside of your bedroom. And yeah, man, you just kind of got to think about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, uh, I used to know this chick. She used to beat the shit out of her dude. You know what I'm saying? Like public, private, whatever. I never seen her in private, obviously, because I'm not there. But in public, I used to be like, man, I fucking feel bad for you because I know when y'all are by yourselves, like this ain't even really the business. You know what I'm saying? Like I know that it ramps up to a different level whenever y'all are like solo type shit. So to me, physical violence is a very big red flag. That's why, like, even if like we're just like in the talking stages or dating and shit like that, if like you hit me playing, I'm just kind of like, hey, I don't really like to be hit. Like that's not okay with me. You know what I'm saying? Like not even in a playful manner. Because the number one excuse I always get is like, well, I'm just playing, and I'm like, yeah, but that's not like I don't play like that. That's not okay. That's a boundary I never want to cross.
I'm trying to think. I can't think of the last time I got hit outside of like kink play. Um, shit, yeah, that probably was 20 years ago when I was in my 20s. And usually it's like, the younger girls, like 18 to 22 ish, 23 ish, where they do stop and they like hit you on the shoulder, like just, whatever. And, or they get mad at
Mhm.
you. The biggest one, the more common one that I've seen is they get mad at you for laughing at them or making a joke of them. And it's not even a crazy, like you're putting
Yeah,
them down. It's like they make a mistake of mispronouncing a word or thinking like, oh man, I can't even think of one, but just basically where you kind of like giggle at them for not knowing the thing, and then you explain it to them, whether it's mansplaining or whatever, but they get mad at you because you laughed, and then they hit you, and that's the one that I'm more common or more used to seeing. And then I just realized, you know what? Just stop talking to 22-year-olds. Just anybody under 25, you only talk to them to fuck them, not to get in a relationship, and everything's gonna be kosher. So
yeah. See, like when I was like the last time I got hit, I was 19. I was 19 and I was with this girl. And see, this is where I fucked up at. Because again, it would be like playful, like she would mispronounce something, and then like you know me, I'm just a jokester, so I would just like kind of like make fun of her for it, like but like in a joking
mhm.
manner. It's not like malicious or nothing like that. But man, I forgot what fucking word it was, but she said it like really weird, and so I was making fun of her, and she got mad and she kind of just like punched me on the arm, and then she was like stop, and then the next time like she kind of started hitting me a little bit more, like where it wasn't just one punch anymore, it was kind of like a small fury, and I'm just like laughing like ah ha 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 ha, and then as time goes on, one day she gets like super drunk and like gets mad, and then like she like legitimately like punched me. Now, granted, it's like a pillow hit me in the face, but it's like jarring the thought that like why would you hit me type shit. You know what I'm saying? And then it got to the point where like she would get drunk, she would get mad, she'd wait for me to turn around, and then she would like dig her nails in the back of my head and shit like that. Like it got very toxic. This is why you should pay attention to red flags, and this is also why you should set healthy boundaries because shit can get out of hand real quick. Because that happened in like the span of 2 weeks, from the one punch on the arm to the flurry to the hitting me while she's drunk to the scratch in the back of my head. Like, I still have a scar in the back of my head where hair won't grow no more because she just clawed out a chunk of my brain, which is why I think I'm a little slow, but I can't prove it because I can't see
Oh.
back there. But
Fuck. No, yeah, I hadn't had anybody hit me since fuck. Yeah, probably 19 as well, 19, maybe 20. But, that's when I realized, you know what? Just stop messing with these little young girls, young women. Granted, I was also in my 20s or early 20s at the time, but still, I realized that older women, or not even older women, just old mature girls, women. I don't know, how would you even define that? Because I was talking specifically like 23 to 27. Like they hit a matureness there at that age. Sometimes they get it sooner, but more often than not, between 23 and 27. I'm not talking about the wall. I'm just talking about just not being so girlish and not being so high school. If that makes a sense, makes any sense.
no, yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. Like for me, because like I got into like a period where I was like just only dating older women because I thought it was like a young girl thing. So like I super overcorrected. to where like when I was 19, she was younger than me, so I was like, nah, fuck that. So then I just like right after that, like the next relationship I was in, I think she was like 40, and I was like, shit, I just got out of prison. How old was I? Like 24. Yeah, I was like 24 maybe. So I was like 24, just brand new 24. I'm talking about a month. Like I just turned 24 type shit. And then I dated her for like, and then again, this is why I say, look, when I give advice, it's because I fucked up and did it. I didn't wait to make her like earn the girlfriend title or whatever the fuck. So it just kind of like she had all these flags and I wasn't paying attention to it, or like they came out later on. And like I said, she was 39 and I was 24. We dated for like 2 weeks and then we got together or whatever the fuck. And then she would get drunk and she would get mad at me because again, like, you know, because like to me, I'm just like I'm the funny guy or whatever the fuck, but like I just kind of make like little jokes and stuff like that, and she didn't like that whatsoever. So she got like really fucking mad, and then she like threw something at me, and then I was what were we doing? I don't. She was making like this weird pasta out of zucchini noodles or some weird vegan shit, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And I was like, if I was a rabbit, I'd eat rabbit food or like some dumb shit. Like it wasn't even a good joke, you know what I mean? Like it was just some dumb shit I thought of. And then she got really mad and took the bowl of zucchini noodles and like threw it at me. And I ducked down or whatever, it like shattered up against the cabinets behind me. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you, yo? And and she's like, that's not fucking funny. I'd spent time peeling those fucking zucchinis by myself and this, that, and the third. Talking about how much effort she put into it. And then I was like, it's a fucking joke. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like for me making a small verbal joke to you throwing a bowl of zucchini noodles, I said that do you not see the crazy elevation like in the level of that? And then she was just all fucking pissed off, and I just like left. I was like, man, fuck this shit. I'm going home because I was over at her place, and then I was just like, I'm going fucking home, man. I don't need this shit. So you gotta watch for escalation because it starts off small and then it always
Yeah.
escalates.
So another red flag is like looking for like signs of crazy. For me, it's part of it is looking for crazy, and the other part is looking for um what's the word? Unrealistic expectations. So by that I mean whenever you go on a date with the girl, first, second, or third date, and they make some kind of joke or something about marriage or getting married. Oh, I can see us with two kids or that's a lovely house. I can see us living in a house like that. Like, whoa, we're not even if we are fucking, like that is way too soon to say anything like that, and that is a clear sign of, man,
Yeah.
she might be into you more than what makes what's the word, she might be way too into you, but not into you, into the idea of the relationship. So she's like, want to get married, want to
Yeah.
have kids tomorrow, and she doesn't care who it is. You just check off a certain amount of boxes, and so she's going to try to like lock you in however it is. And if you don't play her script, you don't follow along with her game, then she's going to fucking go psycho on you. Trust me, you do not want to date a girl that makes jokes like that. Now, you can kind of ask some questions and kind of dig deeper and say something like, oh, hey, I don't see myself getting married, or, I don't want any kids. I want to have X, Y, and Z in place first. And then, she might back off like, oh, I was just joking. So you kind of got to gauge her reaction to what you said. And, sometimes they just can kind of get
Yeah.
caught up. Maybe they did, as a little girl, always wanted a white picket fence and a wraparound porch house, or whatever house you saw that makes her make that comment. Maybe she really truly did see that since her childhood. And so then you got to figure that out. Is that something that's really innate in her that she's always wanted, or is she just like on that biological time clock that she's or countdown that she's focused on? So again, some red flags aren't always red flags. Sometimes red flags are just kind of false flags or misread flags. So it's just kind of like you kind of got to dig deeper if you think you want to pursue something with this woman, but or man, whoever it is that you're chasing after. But always make sure that it's worth it, because that's your warning. That's like your first warning that, hey, it can be bad later on.
Yeah, I think that people don't really like um what's the word I'm looking for here, man? Like had a word tip of my tongue, it's fucking gone. Fuck it. Anyway, you kind of gotta just like you gotta gauge the situation. You know what I mean? Because not every situation is the same. Like in that instance, like she was trying to fill a character in her play that she already had in her head. Where in her head, she just needed person A to fill enough categories to be like, you're good enough, like you get the job. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not the perfect hire, but you're good enough. And then that can usually lead to problems, disappointment, shit like that. And this is, yeah, I always have to say this because some people always get fucking upset with me. But this is not us bashing women. This is just us speaking from a male perspective of red flags we see in women. We are not saying that men are without red flags or that men are without fault. I gotta let that be known because I remember, man, that episode that you and me had. The if y'all haven't heard it, How to Build a Harem, go back and listen to that episode. So many people were so upset. Like, well, I posted on YouTube. It got so many downloads. I was like, "What the fuck, yo?" I was like, "Why are y'all so mad?" And some people were like, "This is misogynistic bullshit. They're just bashing women and blah 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 blah." And I'm like, "Fucking baloney, bitch," you know. But you know, so this is not that. But again, this is just two guys speaking from male perspective. Now, that being said, now the disclaimer's out the way. What I hate about women. No, I'm kidding. Another red flag that, like, to me personally, I don't like is like if you're with somebody, like you're together, like y'all have the title of like boyfriend, girlfriend, and like she never wants to post you on any social media. That's a red flag for me. That's a red flag I've lived through, and that I've also uh, witnessed to like more extremes. So to me, that's a red flag. Like if your girl doesn't post you on social media, because most women will be proud. I mean, if you're a quality guy, she will be proud to post you on social media. She'll be proud to tell people like, "That's my fucking man right there." You know what I'm saying? Whereas in you have some women that not necessarily are ashamed of you, but are still kind of playing the field because they're not really feeling you like that, and you're kind of just again a placeholder in their life right now because you give them good dick and you take care of them well enough, but they're like, maybe I could still do better. So I'm just gonna keep my options open and not post them on social media. And then the number one excuse you always hear is like, well, I just don't like putting my personal life on social media. It's like, bitch, that's all social media is your personal life. You're putting where you're at and tagging your location. Like, and then you're only taking a photo of half the table. You're taking a photo of half the table. You're paying half the
No, they're
fucking
not.
bill.
They're not paying half the bill. But and see,
They're gonna wash the dishes.
I'm not.
I ain't gonna pay for it.
I wonder how to approach that or run that situation whenever it's like if you're dating a female that is an influencer, that is an e-thought or a thought girl, whatever. I wouldn't. I'm not gonna say I would never date one because you never know. Like I can't say never, never is gonna happen. But if I were
Yeah.
in a relationship with one, I would understand that she gets more likes and more views and more everything and more money generated for her by um, seeming available, like looking like she is single and that nobody's with her and she doesn't have a man. And so I could see that if
Yeah.
we met and they're already at that level. But if it's like some just random girl that I'm talking to or whatever that she's not verified, she doesn't have that blue check mark, then yeah, either we're together and I'm on your social media or I'm on your, boyfriend relationship status on Facebook or whatever it is that I'm around. Granted, I don't like taking pictures. I'm not a big fan of like, of course, here I am on video, but I'm not one to take selfies. I'm not one to take pictures or pose with whoever I'm with. But I don't want her to go around seeming like she's available or pretending that she's available if we're going to be something serious. Because if she's not going to take me serious on social media the way she does, because I'll still post her on mine. If I can take a picture, okay, look here, we're together, blah, here, guy who's not available anymore. But if I'm willing to do that and you're not, fine. I can sling my dick around whatever I want, but that's not what I want to do. I want a relationship. So, anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, I think just yeah, there's always exceptions to the rule. Like you said, if it's like an Instagram influencer and shit like that, but you already know what you're signing up for when you agree to be the boyfriend, because it's like, okay, I'm agreeing that you won't post me on social media, like on your like fan page or whatever the fuck. But I know you got a Finsta where you got that like private page that only your friends know about type shit. You know what I'm saying? Or you got that like I just found out about this too because I'm technologically retarded. But you got that like where you can post them stories to like only a certain group of people.
Yeah.
Like I better be posted in that shit. Like I don't give a fuck about being on the main page. Like that's cool. I get it. That's your job. I understand that. You know what I'm saying? That's like getting with the stripper and then being like, "Hey, I don't want you to get naked on stage and shake your ass." Like that's what you signed up for. But again, and then little personal stories. I better be in that motherfucker.
Like
I know
all
that.
your stripper
You know
friends
what I'm
better
saying? I
know how
better
I'm
be
laying
in
it
the
down.
group.
Yeah.
I better be in the post. Yeah, exactly. I better be a legend in that locker room to when I come over there like, oh, girl, your man here type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the type shit I want. But there's always exceptions to every rule. You know what I mean? You got to take it by case basis. That's why I like. Just a quick side note here, but like dudes that like tend not to be great with women, and they want you to give them dating advice. Most of the time, and I mean, you can speak to this more. So, but let's be honest, most of the time they want like a one liner or a certain line to say to women and shit like that. And it's like it doesn't work like that. It's not like, hey, you say this and then their panties will drop. Like that doesn't fucking equate.
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
And it's what's that meme that's always around where yeah, it's he makes you laugh and laugh and laugh and boom, you're naked. Like that's really all it takes is to make them laugh. But you can't use the same joke on
Yeah.
every woman. Like some women will laugh at a certain joke, some women like dad jokes, other women will be looking at you like you're stupid. Others are just like, "Oh my god, you sound just like my dad. I don't want to date you." So you have to figure out, you have to talk to them, you have to understand them, you have to kind of gauge their reactions and go from there on how to make them laugh and how to make them feel at ease. And, then you can get it in. But again, the point of it is you can't just use the same recipe for every person. Everybody's different. Just like you and your friends group, like you and your male friends, each one of you are different. The same attractive looking woman, you'll probably rate her as a 9. Pineapple Dan, right, might rate her a 4. I might rate her a 6. And so it just varies because we have personal taste and everything's different. So just flip the script and realize that our perspectives and women's perspectives are different. They're not this thing that just checks off boxes that, okay, I bought you dinner, I held your hand, I didn't grope you, so now you got to fuck me. Like, that's not how it works. It's not transactional.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, man. And then it's like, by the way, big shout out to Splashboard Radio for the help on the intro video and the outro song. Really appreciate it. I swear I'm gonna put a video to that outro song. Haven't figured it out. Got to get with Gaio, but we'll figure that out. But big shout out to Splashboard Radio for helping me out with that. Slim Burden and Pineapple Dan. Uh, to me also, and another thing that, and I don't know how this is just turning into shitting on dudes having terrible game, but another thing that some guys do.
Wrinkle of
Yeah, you know what
opportunity
I
here.
mean. So, a certain thing the guys do. Yeah, you know what I mean. That's what I'm saying. I bash dudes too. Another thing that some dudes do is like they will take something that they quote unquote learned from another experience and move that into this experience. And when I say that, I mean like sexually. You know what I'm saying? Like again, not all women are built the same. Not all women can come through penetration. Not all women can come through, cunnilingus, whatever the fuck. Like you know what I'm saying? That's eating pussy for you dumb fucks. Uh, and if y'all want to learn more about that, man, y'all gotta go check out the episode that I did with Caitlin with At My Sex Coach. But it's like they try to just be like, oh, I know I lay down good dick because the first girl I ever fucked loved everything that I did when I was like 16 years old and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. But she liked it so much, I've continued to do that well into my 30s. Like that's a terrible, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't ask your partner anything that they like. You're just kind of being aggressive and only doing the shit that you like because you're like, oh, well, it worked that one time, so it should work again. And then your ego gets hurt when she's like, well, I kind of really don't like it when you choke me or when you do this or you do
Oh no,
that.
I,
You know what I'm
I have
saying?
a perfect example of that. I had a skater friend of mine in roller derby. She was hooking up with the number 2 quarterback at the university that they were going to, and while they were at college, like they would always hook up all the time, and she put up with him because he was hot and because he was popular. Like that's the only reason she kept sleeping with him. And once she got out of college, or once they both got out of college, he'd reach out to her every now and again, and she didn't really want to because she knew she wasn't going to get off with him. And he'd like, oh hey, come on, come on, come on, whatever. And so after college, that she hooked up with him a few more times, and she made sure that she was sober just to make sure, okay, well maybe I was drunk and maybe that's why I couldn't come. She kept trying to come up with excuses. So when she was out of college, she was like, okay, let's. She was trying to do like an experiment, try to get all the equations and stuff kind of all the same and whatever. And so eventually she realized sober, drunk, him, both of them, both sober, it didn't matter. He was just bad in bed. He was just a fucking jackrabbit. And so she just decided she's not going to talk to him anymore. And after like 2 or 3 years, he hits her up like, "Hey, what happened? I've been trying to talk to you. You never want to meet up. What's going on?" And you get pushing and pushing to meet up. And she's like coming up with excuses. And eventually she finds out, "Look, you're a bad fuck. That's why I don't talk to you anymore. You've never been good. I've never come with you before." And he was blown away. Like in his mind, he's fucking Johnny Football, can lay it down. All the girls want him, blah, blah, blah. And then, that kind of like blew his mind. And he's like, "Well, what do you mean? What are you talking about? All the girls love me." And it's like, they love the idea of you. They don't love fucking you. They don't like fucking you. And, then eventually he convinced her, "Okay, well, fine, teach me." And I never followed up with her about all that, whether or not he got better or if she taught him or not. But, that was kind of like where the story ended with her, is that, he wasn't good in bed. And so she never fucked with him anymore.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, man. It's like, how do I put this? Like for me, I think it's kind of important for women to play with themselves. You know what I mean? Like kind of just like explore themselves and explore their fantasy and shit. Like learn what makes you come, because there's also like a lot of women that don't even know like how to make themselves come. So it's like, how can you teach a guy to make you come? You know what I mean? Like, because they think it's a no or they think it's weird or whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Which I know nowadays in society is definitely a lot more prevalent. But I'm a big believer in you should play with yourself, because nobody knows your pussy and your body better than you do. Or there's nothing wrong with some positive fucking feedback, man. Give me some feedback. Like, even if it's not like you ain't got to give me directions. You ain't got to build me a map, because I know some girls don't like doing that. But you could just kind of be like, "Oh yeah, daddy, I like that." Or you could be like, "Oh, slower, 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 faster," whatever the fuck. Like, "Oh, rub my clit when you do this," whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Because like when I was younger too, man, I'm not gonna lie. Again, just and it's pure ego. You know what I'm saying? So uh, I was I was 17. No, I was 16. Yeah, I was 16 and I was fucking this older lady, and she was like, I say older lady, I'm fucking her age now. She was 30. I was 16 at the time. God, I'm old as fuck. And
That's statutory rape in Texas, buddy.
Yeah, it's all right. I let her. So I didn't tell. She didn't tell. She was a nice lady. But yes. Anyway, me and her having sex, and she wanted to like use a vibrator like every time she was getting like close to like climaxing and shit like that. So she would like grab her vibrator and like put it on her clit and stuff like that. And at first that like hurt my little old soul, 'cause, I'm like fragile and tender and shit like that. And I'm like, no. I'm like, you're telling me I'm not good enough? And then, just saying dumb shit. And I'm like, you're telling me I'm not good enough to make you come by myself? And she's like, no, it's not that. Like, you're doing great and I love it. But like, I need this. Like, you don't understand. Like, I need it. And as a guy, a lot of times you don't understand, because we move it up and down, the shit gonna spit. So I think that a lot of guys kind of just don't, not necessarily they don't understand it, they don't want to understand it, because they're like, I don't give a fuck. Like, as long as I bust my nut, like what does it matter? Because there's a lot of guys that believe like, hey, only one person got a nut for us to procreate, and it's not her.
Oh man, yeah. Technically, although the chances are higher to get pregnant if she also climaxes as well, it just makes the lubrication easier for the sperm to get in there. But anyways,
Yeah, I mean, listen, I just say it was a flawed logic, but
yeah. Oh man. No, but I mean, yeah, there's a lot of guys and women that don't understand biology. Like, depending on where you grew up, your school district might have given you a very basic, like very basic. Hey, boys have penises, girls have a vagina. You put one in the other, and you're gonna get pregnant. Like, you might have a little bit more detail than that, a little bit more scientific, but you don't get the proper sexual education of pleasing your partner. It's more about just how procreation happens, and don't do it, and if you do, then use a condom. Like that's just really all sex education ends up being, at least in high school in Texas particularly, or even in the South, the Bible Belt and all that. And nobody bothers to have that conversation or learn
yeah,
about it, because we see sex is so taboo. And that's why when you get into a relationship, or even when you're starting dating anyone, a red flag for me is them not taking an interest in me, or asking me questions. And sure, sometimes you kind of get into a lull where you're like, hey, what are you into, what do you like, and then they ask you the same question once they answer it, because you kind of like lose questions, lose ideas. But if they don't have the effort of trying to get to know you, that's another red flag. That they don't care about you. And if they don't care about you enough to get to know who you are as a person, then how are you going to have that conversation to get to know what gets you off and what's going to get them off?
Yeah. So, like I said, I think it's just taking exactly what you said. It's taking an interest in your partner. You know what I mean, and finding out not only what makes them come, sexually, but also what makes them happy, just as an individual. You know what I mean, and that's something you got to kind of pay attention to. And a lot of people don't really give a fuck because a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's about my self happiness," and her making me happy should be what makes her happy. Which, I mean, to an extent, I guess, but no, man, you know what I mean? Like, people need certain things out of out of a relationship, and so for me, another red flag. Ooh, let me think of a good one. Let me think of a good one because, guy, you've been coming with the fire, man, and I feel like I'm being left in the dust just a little bit.
Well, it doesn't hurt that I have an outline for an episode that is red flags on a first date. So it's not out yet, and I haven't even recorded it. So it's just kind of like, yeah, I'm just
Yeah, there we
throwing
go.
shit out there. Yep.
There we go. This is practice, man. You're just throwing shit up against the wall, and certain shit is sticking. But yeah. Damn, I
Not right
just
now.
had it in my head. Fuck me. Oh, another good one. Not
Mm.
not making time for your partner. That's a red flag for me. Like, if we make plans to do something and then you keep flaking on me, like, I people get two strikes. Like, that's it. This ain't baseball. You know what I mean? This It's two strikes and you're out. The first one, I'm like, all right, you flaked on me. Maybe something important came up. That's cool. We'll reschedule. And then if we reschedule, because when we reschedule, I'm gonna make sure it's good for your schedule. Because I'm gonna be like, all right, well, the first time it was best for my schedule or works best for your schedule. I'm available these days at these times. You pick the time. And then if they pick the time and then, they don't fucking show up or they don't respond or whatever the fuck, like, that's it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna respond to you. I don't care if you text me the next morning talking about, hey, sorry, I got super busy, my dad's in the hospital, or whatever the fuck. Because I'm like, I don't want to sound heartless, but I don't care. So, you know what I'm saying? That's a red flag for me, is like being really flaky and not appreciating your partner's time. You know what I'm saying? Because especially for me, like, I work a lot, so it takes a lot for me to schedule time out of my day, whether from doing the podcast or going to work or whatever the fuck I'm doing, taking time out of that to be able to go hang out with you, and then you're just like, doesn't really matter. It's not my fucking
I
time.
can
Who
get
cares?
behind that. It just kind of depends more on the flake. Like if they're a flake, no call, no show, then yeah, fuck them. Like they don't even get a second chance if it's a no call, no show. The only
Oh
excuse
yeah,
is, hey, my mother, father, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, like immediate family, somebody died or is in the hospital. Okay, fine. You call me or text me, a couple hours later, I can let it slide, but she's got to make the effort to make a second date. I'm not even going to tell her, oh, hey, well, this is when I'm available. Like, I wouldn't even go that extra mile. If she wants to see me really, she'll make the time and effort to see me or make up for it on the next date, or the first date that didn't get to happen. Um, but so yeah, for no call, no show,
yeah.
game over. No, no, just one strike. If it's something happens in the family,
Yeah.
fine. I'll let it slide. I'll let her reschedule. But and then later on, if you're dating already, seeing each other, and then she starts flaking on you, then okay, fine. We're not even committed. So I don't even care. If you want to see me, fine. But I'm gonna go. You're gonna be like at the bottom of the list. I'm not gonna call you up. I'm gonna check with girl 1, 2, and 3 first. If they don't respond, then I'll hit up that the practice team or the B team or whatever. I need to figure out a whole sports analogy for them. But they're like the pickup game, the practice team, whatever.
Football,
Yeah,
she's
they're
coming up
just
from the
not
practice squad.
the first call that I'm going to make or the
Yeah.
first text I'm going to send out. Hey, what are you doing this weekend or what are you doing tonight?
Yeah, she's a relief pitcher. She's not the
She's not
starting
even a
lineup.
relief pitcher.
She's
She's
just a
like on the
relief pitcher.
practice team. She's like,
But
she's not even in the
uh
game. She's just like, yeah, she's in Triple
oh,
A. There
she's
we
in
go.
AAA. Okay, got it. Yeah, she's in the Sugar Land Skeeters. She's not in the Astros.
The water boy.
Great
She's not
analogy,
even playing. She's just the
but
water boy for the team.
Hey, there you go.
right?
She's the backup to the towel boy. You know what I mean? Like she just she stays inside the storage room just in case if
Mm.
some weird accident happens to the towel boy. But oh god damn. Um God damn, I lost my whole train of thought making that joke. Fuck me. Yeah, man. It's just have you ever let a third strike go? Like I've never like I said, for me it's two strikes. I've never let anybody go to a third strike as far as like flakiness goes. You know what I mean? Like, I've never let it go to a third strike. I don't care how fucking pretty you are, how bad you are, how interesting or how much we connected like through text or whatever the fuck. Like there is no third strike for me. Is there ever a third strike
I
for you? Like
have, but this
extenuating
was like
circumstances?
2010, 11. Like it was right before I realized I was an intercourse addict, and it was just one girl that we just kind of like kept missing and misconnecting or whatever for shit like 10 years at that point already, 10, 15 years. And it was like some girl I knew from high school, and like either she was dating someone, I was dating someone, I got married, she got married, and it was just like never something never worked. So, and for whatever reason, I mean, she was still pretty up until her like late 20s, early 30s, and like I just wanted to get it in. That's it. And so she kept flaking on me because, oh no, I don't want to ruin the friendship or whatever excuse she had. And eventually, like, okay, fine, you don't want to ruin the friendship. That's totally fine. And my goal at that point was to just rail her like she'd never gotten it before and tell her, I don't want to ruin the friendship. Let's just stay friends. And then she kept hounding me for a couple of years. Then she got mad at me and never talked to me again because I wouldn't fuck her anymore. But so I put up with the flakiness and the third and fourth and fifth strike just to use that as a revenge, as to like put it on her so good that she still wants me. And last time I heard from her was maybe like 2 years ago. But like every year, year and a half, she'll like hit me up and say, "Hey, when are you coming back to Houston? When are you gonna do this? Call me. I want to see you." Blah blah blah. You know, I'm sorry I was stupid and girly back then. I just want to take things slow and be serious now. Like whatever. I don't care. I already got it in.
Yeah. See, that's like that's like one of my friends that I know, man. I remember one time he like just kept letting this bitch fake on him and kept like just doing like shady fucking shit. But just because he was like, man, I just want to fuck her so bad, and I was like, no pussy is worth the headache of what you're going through right now. I said because you'll invite her out, and that's why like he just started inviting us out to like I don't want to say their dates because like they won't go to dinner. They would like go grab drinks or whatever the fuck. And so he would go somewhere and then he would invite us and he'd be like, "Hey, let's go get a drink somewhere." And he's like, "Oh, this girl's supposed to show up. If she shows up, like I'm a dip." And I'm like, "Ah, that's fucking cool. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like we'll just enjoy the time." And then she never ends up showing up, so it just turns into a boys' night, kind of just through osmosis type shit. But to me, I'm like, bro, that's like never worth it. You know what I'm saying? And she just keeps constantly flaking and basically just wanting your attention through text and shit like that. Nothing's worth my
Mhm.
time like that because my time is valuable. I'm not finna be
Oh yeah, no,
wasting
no,
it
I
chasing no
totally agree.
motherfucking
Like
ass.
they're
Like
like like you said, there's
be free,
exceptions to the
fly fly.
rule, and that's my one. That's my mulligan. That's the one I let slide and let it happen. But by and large, yeah, I agree. No pussy's worth. No, there's no pussy good enough in the world for flakiness or for crazy, especially crazy. Crazy is just no. Like there's just yes, crazy girls tend to be better at sex, but the relationship is fucking toxic, terrible, horrendous, and you're lucky to get out of there without ending up in jail or prison for either killing her or for her accusing you of all kinds of crazy shit. For example, Amber Heard. You know, if Johnny Depp didn't have money, he would just be a nobody, broke, in prison, all kinds of crazy shit that had happened
It'd
to
be
him.
fucked.
And he's lucky that he also had receipts, and he's lucky that he had former girlfriends that no, he is a nice guy, he is a good person, blah blah blah, that would stand up for him. But by and large, most guys aren't that lucky and don't have that much money, so crazy is not worth it.
Yeah, man. It's like uh funniest fucking story I've ever heard, man. I was talking to a coworker and she was telling me about her cousin and shout out Jazz, but she was talking about her cousin And man, that shit was fucking hilarious, dog. Because she was telling me about this. So she's a lesbian, so she like talks to her cousins like dudes and shit like that, and they talk to her like she a whole ass dude. So it was just funny because he was fucking this crazy chick, and she was telling him like, "Hey man, like you need to stop fucking with that crazy bitch." And then he's like, "Man, you don't understand, Jazz. Like she just do it so fucking sloppy." And I died laughing because I'm like, "What the fuck does that even mean?" And she's like, "I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that." And then she told me, she's like, apparently, she just gave him the sloppiest head to where he forgave everything. He's like, I don't get. He's like, listen, I ain't never had no shit like this in my life. That regular shit, it's dry, it's clean, it's Sunday church. This bitch is Freaky Friday. Like she don't give a damn. It's nasty. And I was like, that's hilarious. Terrible reason to stay with her, but that's fucking hilarious. Just the way she told the story was the fucking best, man. It was great.
Yeah, that.
I died laughing.
See,
It's sloppy.
so my father gave me a lot of nuggets for advice. One of them was never date crazy. Fuck them, but don't date them. And same with never redate an ex. Fuck them, but
Yeah.
don't redate them. Don't go back to an ex and don't date them again. So two different reasons, but still, you know, I personally try to avoid crazy, especially now because I'm too old to fucking deal with the cops and bullshit. And no, I just want to go to work, come home, fucking do a podcast and take a nap, and then get up and do some other crazy shit, and then go to sleep. Like I'm just old. I'm too old for all this crazy ass bullshit anymore.
Yeah, I want to eat a fucking sandwich. You know what I mean? Like I want to come home, make a sandwich, and go to fucking bed. You know what I mean? Like I want to have a chill ass day. I don't want to be getting scratched in the back of my head, losing brain matter anymore. But so let's go on with your week, by the way, man. So I started a diet. They started this workout challenge at work, and they brought this scale in. So yeah, I had been wanting to lose weight because I went to the doctor, like I went to the clinic or whatever to go get like a STD test or whatever the fuck. And so want to go get a regular checkup. To me, not a big deal. I step on the scale. That bitch said 205. I said the fuck, and then they're like, "You have high blood pressure." I'm like, "That must be the wrong chart. That must be somebody else." And they're like, "No, no, no. Like you got high blood pressure." You know, what I'm like, "That's a 29. What you mean I got high blood pressure?" Turns out it was from coffee. But anyway, uh, yeah, I stepped on scale. It said 205. I said 205. The fuck? I said, hold on, let me take these boots off real quick. I stepped back on, it's like 204.8. I'm like, God damn. So I was big the
Oh,
motherfucker, man.
oh
I was
man.
like, I'm too goddamn big. So they started this, and it's crazy, man. It's like the stars aligned. It's like I know that your lazy ass will not lose weight, but like I don't know, man. I'm weird. I'm a very competitive person. So they started this like weight loss competition at work, and man, I'm fired up for that shit. I'm back down now. I weighed myself this morning. I just broke back down into 189. So I'm fucking like ready. I started eating better and I started drinking these like shakes in the morning and shit like that. It's a cucumber, a stick of celery, a green apple, spinach, kale, and a slice of pineapple. And I drink that in the morning, have my coffee, drink water, and then I try to wait to eat till about like 8 o'clock, which for me that's late because I go into work at 2:30, so I'm up from 1:30. So I try to wait at least
Mhm.
7 to 8 hours till I eat anything like solid and shit like that. And I would have like I've ate the same thing for the past 3 days. I get a steak with roasted veggies and a salad, and I only get a half serving of ranch. I only use half the ranch that they give me, so that way I'm not adding just extra bullshit calories. But I've been doing good, man. I've been losing weight. I'm back down to 189
Try
because I'm
pushing
gonna
the
crush this
shake
competition.
till later in the day. So I've been doing intermittent fasting for about a month and a half now, and I plateaued. And actually, this week I started doing yoga. This app that I got fucking recommended because I'm a fat ass, and Instagram popped it up on my. But yeah, I started doing yoga, and man, it's been great. Like I'm getting more stretchy, more flexible, um, activating muscles that I didn't know I had or forgot I had, or whatever. Um, but yeah, with intermittent fasting, like you get more
Yeah.
ketones and basically helps you burn fat and make your body um, flush out toxins and shit. The longer you can push off eating, so if you can go into like 20 hours of not eating, that's even fucking great. So black coffee or coffee with
Jesus.
non-dairy creamer is okay. Water, but as long as you don't have anything that has any sugar or any calories in it, then or once you start eating something, so that shake will kind of break your fast. But if you can push that shake, like just make it and drink it even 2 hours after you wake up instead of first thing when you wake up, you'll probably end up with more benefits and be able to lose more weight that way. Um, but anyways, and this was me from
Fuck
fucking
yeah.
back in '05. Like I went from 358 to 220 ish. From I don't remember what my BMI was. It was fucking retarded, like 40% body fat down to 12 at 220. That's like
Off the
football
charts.
player build. Um, and I was, but it's fucking expensive to be that big, to be that size. It's, eating every few hours, having like tons of chicken, tons of turkey, and that shit ain't cheap anymore. And especially back then, and having to take supplements and all the other shit you got to take with it is just too expensive to be a big, bodybuilder shape, bodybuilder, um, size type of guy. So now I just try to go for more just functional strength. I don't care about having a six pack. I just want to be able to like touch my toes and toss a medicine ball like 20 feet in the air and not have to like, be hurting for 3 days afterwards.
Yeah, man. I so where I noticed the weight was like I quit smoking cigarettes, and I still needed that like mouth to hand motion, that hand to mouth motion, and man, I just was like snacking all fucking day. Like I was eating those chili mango slices. Like I would eat that first thing in the morning because there's like a gas station down the street from my job, and they're open 24 hours. So I would go there, get one of those, munch on that shit, drive for a little bit, stop at a different gas station, get me like a protein bar, and that shit's all fucking fat and carbs and shit. Eat me a protein bar. Then I'd stop again, like maybe an hour or two later, get a bag of chips, munch on that fucking shit. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm drinking beer on the fucking weekends, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and then I'm eating two big ass meals a day. Where like I go to Waffle House, I
Fuck
get a
yeah.
waffle, I get the double hash browns, I get the eggs, the
Yeah, the
bacon,
All American.
the you know what I'm saying? I get like
The
oh
All
that's
Star. No, the
all
All
star,
Star.
man.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But
Ah,
yeah, yeah, the All Star. I get the All Star, man. And then the fucking waffle can't be regular, man. I'm either getting the pecan or I'm getting the chocolate chip, which makes it 1,000 times worse. So I'm just stuffing my fat ass fucking face. And then like I said, I started realizing how big I was getting, because like I would wear like medium shirts, and then I started putting my shirts on, and they're just getting a little bit tighter and a little bit tighter. And now like I look like a goddamn cartoon, and I'm like, shit, man, I'm getting way too big. But now my clothes are starting to fit me uh more to a decent size again, because like all the bloating has gone down, most of it. So the real problem was like, so I got like tattoos on my body and shit like that, and I got these three girls on my stomach, and so like the middle one has a gag ball. She has like a ball gag in her mouth, and so I got so fucking big I could see the ball gag, and I was like, that's too big. I was like, I don't like that, because regularly I could just see her eyes. Now I can see the ball gag. I'm like, oh, that's poking out too far. Now I'm back just the
oh
eyeballs. I can't
man.
see the ball gag no more.
Yeah.
Thank God.
There's what is it, that dicky do disease where your belly sticks out further than your dicky do. So yeah, you don't want to get there. No.
Ah, well, luckily I'm blessed. You know what I'm saying? So that's never gonna be a problem. But no, I'm bullshit. But yeah, no, that was a serious issue. Like I said, I was just taking a piss one morning and I saw the ball gag, and I was like, well, I've never been able to see that before. Like this has got to be a problem. And then they told me I weighed 205. I was like, bitch, I'm fat. I was like, God damn it, I need to lose some weight.
Fuck. It's crazy. Let's see what else. What other
Oh, hell yeah. I always make the joke. I'm like, I always weigh so much. It's because my dick weighs 12 pounds. So if we could just take that off the scale, that will probably make it go down lower. The nurse did not think that was funny. He was visibly upset. And I'm sorry to that young man.
Oh shit. Huh. Let's see what else. What other red flags do we got? Hmm. Oh, my week.
Oh, no, hold on. What's been going on with your week, man? What's been
Nothing.
going on with your week real quick
Fucking
before
having
we
to
jump
work
back into
late
red flags?
because had one of my guys be a no call no show, so that's gonna be fun and having to do a write up tomorrow. Because I like the guy. He's a fucking great worker, hard worker, but man, he's got a girlfriend that's yeah, no,
Now when he
but
don't show up, he ain't.
he's got a girlfriend that's a drug addict. I don't know if she still is or she's not, but like apparently he's been in love with her since like high school, and they've been off and on, and so whenever they're on, he's off at work. So it's just like fuck, you know. Anyways, that's why I was late today because I had to like fucking put on my tools and get all greasy and dusty and shit today, and I had to fucking come home and rush to take a shower. So, but yeah, no, the week's been going great. Just one issue today, so can't complain. I mean, I could, but Only I can fix it. But yeah, nothing's bad. Everything's going great. Um, just can't wait for the weather to get warmer so I can start riding my bike to work. Motorcycle.
There you go, man. It's hot as fuck over here, dude. It got up to 82 today. I'm like, this is unholy. I'm like, how the fuck we just go from like a winter
Mm.
freeze to just hot as balls? I'm like, we just skipped
We
spring.
never
We
have.
were like,
Well,
spring,
y'all
you're
never
not
have
needed here.
spring.
We have two
It's
seasons in Texas.
summer,
Yeah.
fall, a couple of days of winter, summer again.
Yeah, man. We get 2 weeks of fall, like a weird month of winter, and then
Mm.
the rest of the year is just fucking hot. Just hot as fuck. It's hotter than Satan's toenails. Like, this shit is ridiculous, man. It's dumb. Speaking of coworkers not showing up, man, we had some shit happen a couple weeks ago. It was fucking hilarious. I hired this new guy. He didn't show up for like 2 days because I'm supposed to be training him or whatever the fuck. And then he shows up on Monday, and they're like, "Hey, Boogie, take the new guy." I was like, "All right, got it." So I take the new guy, and I was like, "Hey, man, they told me you were supposed to start like last Thursday. The fuck happened?" He's like, "I went to jail." I was like, "What?" I said, hold on," because he said I went to. He said I went to jail, and then just
You,
started looking out the window. I'm like, "Oh, time out." You know what I'm saying?
yo,
You can't say that shit and then just come back. Like, I'm like, are you on bond, nigga? Like the fuck, I'm already in trouble. Like, I can't be around bad people. You got to go back. And then he's like, no, man, I had like unpaid like traffic tickets, and I was like, oh, you sat in city for the weekend. He was like, yeah, I'm not gonna pay that shit. I said, smart man. I did the exact same shit because I'm like, bro, I'm not gonna pay for no fucking city tickets, guy. I'm like, the fuck I look like, you know what I'm saying? I had like $800 worth of fines. I was like, bitch, fuck you, because man, I forgot what happened. I don't know how I racked up $800. I racked up $800 worth of fucking fines. I go to traffic court, and they're like, you could pay $800, or you could spend 4 days in city jail. And I was like, ooh, city jail. That's 4 days for one. I was like, they do 4 for 1 over there. I was like, then if I get a trustee job, I get 5 for 1. So I could literally just spend like a day and a half in city jail. And I was like, fuck it, sign me up for city jail. And then he was like, all right, there you go. He's like, bailiff, take him away. Took me away. Sure enough, I spent 2 days in city jail because I became a trustee, just fucking handing out lunch trays
mm.
to crackheads that are there for the weekend. And that shit was great, man. $800 just right off for 2 days worth of my time. I called into work. I said, I'm not going to be in for 2 days, and I might be late Monday. I'm not sure yet. And they're like, all right, fuck it. And everything was all good. This was like years ago, though. That's when I was a degenerate, guys. That's when I was
No,
a
but
degenerate.
didn't they
So
say,
like
at
2
least
weeks
I
ago.
remember, or maybe it was county that had the, you can come in, check in at like 10 p.m., get processed in, they let you out at midnight and it counts for 2 days. That way they don't have to feed you or house you. You just kind of just sit around in a holding tank. And so you would do that like every other day. So you can come in, get 2 days taken off of your time, but you're only serving like 3 hours a day.
Yeah, that's county, and it's extenuating circumstances. So we had like this one guy who was in my pod, and so man, I forgot what the fuck he did. He did something. I can't remember. But he would literally like he would get processed Friday, come in on Friday, go back to his old bunk, come there Friday, Sunday morning they call him out, and then he's processed out by the time Sunday comes. So literally, he just would have to give up his weekend. Basically, is what he would do. He come in Friday night. He'd have to check in at 9 p.m. Checks in at 9 p.m. He makes it to the pod like around like midnight. Goes there, goes to sleep. Wakes up late as fuck on Saturday. Does his thing. Goes to sleep. Wakes up Sunday and is then fucking gone. And I'm like, ain't this about a bitch?
But would you do that?
But
Would you do time like,
it
let's say
happens.
you have to serve a year, but because you're doing just the weekends? No, I
I
know you
did time,
did.
guy. I
But if
did
you had
time.
the option, would you rather do a year straight or would you rather do like 4 years giving up your weekend? Mhm.
I do a year straight. Only because I've been through the process to where like uh I kind of know the ins and outs, and I already know
Mhm.
like where I have to switch my brain to where it's like, okay, just gonna shut off everything and just kind of like live this jail life for a year and then be completely done with it instead of 4 years. This
No.
is a fucking bitch. I never have a weekend again, type shit. You know what I'm saying? Because just like you'd never be able to date, like not really. You know what I'm saying? Because the girls want to gonna go out on the weekend, and you just keep telling her like, oh, I'm busy on the weekend. My job sends me out of town on the weekend. Like, ain't nobody
No.
finna believe that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? You're a Google search away. So, it is what it is. We're speaking of Google searches, actually, man. This is a This is a red flag, a big red flag. Hopping back into that, women that will call the police on you, that is a red fucking flag. Because so uh, a situation happened here in Houston, right? I was on probation for my original crime of aggravated robbery. I was on probation. Bam, I'm on probation. I get with this girl. She has a kid. Okay, she she already had the kid. She's not my kid. She already had the kid. So I come in playing stepdaddy and
You know,
whatnot,
fucked up.
and then uh yeah, kid ends up getting hurt, right? Well, she was an immigrant. She was illegally here. So the DA told her, "Hey, if you say that he hit the kid and that he has a history of it and it's happened before, like, and you're willing to testify, we'll push for you to get a green card." She agreed to it naturally, so she agreed to that. So I get a case put on me, and then I have to go back to jail because it's a violation of my probation. Get found innocent on all counts, but I'm all over KHOU, ABC News, and all that bullshit, Fox, whatever the fuck. I'm all over that shit. And so I'm there. My time is rough as fuck because these guys are thinking that I'm, fucking little kids up and shit like that. And so then my trial date comes up. Now she refuses to testify because she's like, I feel bad, I lied. So now my attorney wants to get her on the stand to be like, say fucking that. Say that they pressured you, they gave you these false promises, blah, 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 whatever the fuck. But when I got out, I realized that news article was still up about me. So then I reached out to this news source and I was like, hey, can you take down this article that you guys wrote that's in your archives because it's not true? And they're like, well, no, because we did report on it. And if you look, there's an addendum. I'm like, where the fuck is the addendum at? In the tiniest letters at the bottom, it says that I was found innocent. And I'm like, motherfucker. So when I first got out and I first started dating, and I'm giving people my names, and I'm giving people my name and stuff like that, my government name, and their friends are Googling me because they're like, oh, let me see what this man look like. And then you give it a quick Google search, this terrible crime pops up. And they're not reading the fucking addendum because they're not reading the whole article. They're reading the fucking headline, which sounds terrible. So I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, man. So women that will call the police on you. And this is where I fucked up at. That was not the first time she called the police on me. All right. The first time she called the police on me, she came home drunk and woke me up, and I had to be at work in like 2 hours. And it was her and her friend. They came home drunk as fuck, being loud and obnoxious. And I told them, I was like, hey man, like, y'all are being loud and obnoxious. I gotta get up for work in like 2 hours. Like, have some fucking respect. I pay the bills around here. Like, fucking chill out. There was no chill, guy. There was no chill. And they fucking got mad. Long story short, she got mad and fucking bit me. She bit me and I freaked out. So so this is gonna sound crazy. So I grabbed the bottom of her nose and I go like this, so that way her head will like naturally go back. For those that don't know, if you grab the bridge of somebody's nose like this and you push up, naturally that hurts like a motherfucker, so they want to pull away. So I do that to her, and so she like gets off me. But when I do that, she like makes herself flip over the bed, and her friend is there. Friend calls the cops, say that I hit her or whatever the fuck. Cops show up, they're like, hey man, domestic disturbance, whatever the fuck. Put me in handcuffs, put me in the back of the car once they realize I got a record. And then I'm like, listen, man, she assaulted me, and then that I just pushed her to get off of me. And they're like, what do you mean she assaulted you? I said, if you pull my shirt down, I said I have a bite on my chest. And I was like, and it still fucking hurts. So I think she left a mark. And they pull my shirt to the side, and sure enough, I have her teeth marks like on my chest and a little bit of blood. And they're like, oh shit. So they go over there, and after I told them the entire story, and they're like, hey, listen, y'all are assholes. He's got to go to work. And so it turns out y'all are just dicks, and it turns out you bit him first. So we're going to leave. And then they're like, who's the apartment under this, that, and the third? And I'm like, it's mine. It's my apartment, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, they make her fucking leave after she causes a scene, like, you gonna kick me and my baby out. And I'm like, you sure weren't giving a fuck about that baby when you took a chunk out my chest? But yeah, if somebody's willing to call the police on you, man, for shit that you didn't do wrong, that's a giant fucking red flag. Run away in the opposite direction as fast as you can, especially if you're on probation. And that was Boogie story time, guy.
Oh man, there's so many red flags there. So many red flags there. Yeah.
So many.
Yeah.
So many. Again,
Exactly.
back to the
Yeah.
physical assault.
Oh God,
Same girl from
Jesus!
that story also.
You don't learn.
Yep.
No, you didn't.
Same girl. That's what I said. I didn't learn,
There's
guys. I
some
didn't learn.
lessons that are
No, at
okay to
all.
not learn the first time. Like a hot chick does not equal hot sex. Like it's hot. Oh yeah, hey, she's probably good in bed. No, that's not always
No.
the case. Sometimes, yeah,
Pillow
exactly.
princess.
Sometimes, or most of the time, they're pillow princesses. Sometimes they bother to throw their back into it, and rarely they're hot and are good in bed. Um, that's a lesson I didn't want to learn because I liked all my friends being jealous of this hot ass chick that I had on my arm, and the other hot ass chick that they knew that they saw me with 2 nights before, and the hot ass chick that we're gonna go to the beach with, to Galveston the next day, whatever. Like it just being able to be that guy that has all these hot chicks, even though they fucking sucked at bed, even though they bit my dick whenever they're trying to give me head. All that shit didn't matter because my friends were jealous. And then I realized, you know what?
Oh.
My friends aren't giving me head. My friends aren't getting me off. So why do I care? What do they think? I'm gonna focus on getting a good bad bitch. So, anyways, that's a lesson that's worth putting up with and learning the hard way. But having a chick call the cops on you,
I'm gonna say your lesson was way better than mine. Yeah, your lesson was way better
less
than
hassle,
mine.
a lot less hassle.
Yours was a harmless lesson. Yeah, mine definitely had a lot more consequences. Ended up doing 5 years. So thanks. But it is what it is. This is the fucking past now. I don't care. But I really wish that news source would take that story down.
I already
It's
told
still
you how
up,
to circumvent that.
but
We
it
can
fucking
talk off
sucked.
air about
But anyway,
doing that if you're serious. That way, whenever you give out your name, there's nothing attached to it.
no, I do remember that because and see that's why I mostly use my alias, but also like for my original crime, right? Like my actual like aggravated robbery, like that's already been expunged from my record. You know what I'm saying? Because it's already been 7 years. Went through the court process, all that shit. Like that shit is gone off my record. So like I said, that's what sucks because then when they try to look me up for my original crime, because then they're like, well, maybe the original crime don't pop up. So now they think I'm just lying and that I went to prison for 5 years for this fucking fucked up thing. And I'm like, oh Jesus. I mean, luckily I don't have to worry about that anymore. You know what I'm saying? But before that was a fucking problem.
Yeah, especially with employers and with that's going to be an issue. But whatever.
It was really like just speaking from the dating aspect. Like if a chick had kids, I knew I was fucked. I'm like I'm already like not winning. You know what I'm saying? Like I just have to make such a great impression that she's like, let me give him a chance to explain this. And even then, I explain it sometimes, and they're still like, it's a no go for me, big dog. You know what I'm saying? They're Randy Jackson on American Idol. It's a no for me, big dog.
Is there still American Idol? Is that shit still on?
But hey, it is what it is. Yeah, but they got so many new judges and so many people just go on there for fucking clout and fame and shit like that. Like I found out that people go on there purposefully being terrible singers and they go there with like a gimmick and shit like that just to get on TV and be made fun of. Just so then that way they can use that to be like people like are like, man, I gotta look this fucking person up because there's no way this bitch is that crazy or this dude is this delusional. You know what I'm saying? And then it kind of just like leads people into their content and shit like that.
Smart.
Which hey, I get it, I guess. I mean, I don't really get it because I'm not an attention whore. But I say that while I'm on a podcast. But you know what I mean? Like, I get it, I guess. I understand the thought behind it.
Fucking crazy these days.
Yeah, people do anything for clout, man. All right, guys, give me one more red flag before we get up out of here, man. Just a good one. Fuck, give me a green flag. Let's do that. Let's end on a positive note, guys. Give me a green flag. Let me come up
with one because you probably were thinking about this for a second, anyways. Green flags. Oh well, shit.
I was not. This came off the top of my head, guy. Like most of my life, I am improvising this. But no, I got it though. I got it. Okay, here we go. A green flag for me. You know what I'm saying? A woman cutting off her male friends because it makes you uncomfortable. That is a green flag for me because realizing that something makes your partner uncomfortable and then adjusting, you know what I'm saying? And this goes for both sexes. This is not, again, just only for women. But realizing that something really makes your partner uncomfortable and then adjusting that because even though you may not agree with it or you may not think it's quote unquote right or whatever the fuck, but taking their feelings into consideration and being like, my man doesn't like that I have male friends for whatever fucking reason. I'm not gonna ask the why. I just know that he doesn't like it, and I want to make my partner happy. That's a
That's a good
green
one
flag for me.
specifically. I was before you said anything, I'll have my answer, and I'm not trying to showboat you. It's just like the broader picture of what you specifically said. So conflict resolution, basically,
Amen.
if there's something that you disagree on, that you
Yeah,
can either agree to disagree or come to a resolution. Like, okay, hey, I don't like you doing this, or I like that you do that. You know, reaching to that conclusion that's going to make things better for the relationship, that you're going to work together towards it, and not have any animosity or not get into an argument or not hold any grudges because you didn't get your way, that you're negotiating for what you want in the end. So you have a specific example. I'm just saying, like, in the broad sense, hey, that's always good because you know that later on in the relationship, if something comes up, you can handle it like adults instead of like children.
yeah, that's definitely fucking great, man. And if you want more gems like that, make sure to check out Sucias Are My Favorite. Available everywhere you get podcasts. That includes Spotify, Apple Podcast, fucking everywhere. Make sure you go there. If you want to check out my boy's website, go to sucias.xyz. That's sucias.xyz. So if you have any complaints, any problems, you can hit up Gaio personally, and he will give you the fucking smoke in the fire. Which, thank God, because I don't have time for that shit.
Yeah.
But all right, guy, I've shouted out all your social media,
shit.
man. Let me see
Fuck,
how much.
now I got to do
Go
this.
ahead, hit it.
Fuck, it is block underscore productions.
Yeah,
Wait, no,
hit it.
Cement Block Productions. My bad. Cement Block underscore productions on Instagram. You can hit up Boogie. He's not going to talk to you there. He doesn't give a shit. He just posts up random things and he'll comment on you, but he's not going to answer you unless like you really bring some smoke, and then he's got to bring it up on an episode later. But for the most part, a lot of the episode ideas that we have come from you guys, and it's either a direct response to you or just giving us a perspective like, hey, you know what, we never thought about it, let's have a conversation about it. So you guys matter, you guys are important. Come talk to us, come hit us up, let us know, and we'll come back to you and we'll let you know what's going on in our lives and how to respond or deal with the situation.
Definitely, man. Like I said, you can get Block Talk everywhere. Also, that there's podcasts. It's also available on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, all that good fucking jazz. And I will respond to you if you want to have a serious conversation. Once it turns into you coming with that holier art than thou bullshit, and this, if you come to me with some Christian fascism on the shit I got to say, I don't want to hear your bullshit. Keep that to yourself, goddammit. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with Christians. I'm just saying if you come from a fascist standpoint, leave me the fuck alone. You know what I'm saying? But thank you guys so much for listening, man. Make sure you like, subscribe, go check out all the other podcasts that we have. A lot of great content. Gaio's here for the rest of the fucking season and hopefully more seasons to come. I hope. Because as long as we come here, hopefully you come at home. That sounded good. But anyway, y'all have a good night.